Explaining my pronouns. Z, zim, zir.
What are we, making up words now?
Use these pronouns in addition to they, them, and he, him pronouns. I enjoy them because to me it is gender specific. These are pronouns specifically for my non-binary identity. They, them pronouns are gender neutral, so anyone can use they, them pronouns, whether you're a cis man or you're non-binary like myself. So Z, zim, gender specific, they, them, gender neutral. Both of these are fine. How do you use these pronouns? Zim at the store today. Z was buying chips. I haven't heard from Zim in a while. I hope Zir's doing okay. If this is really confusing for you, that's understandable. It's a new concept. I'll use they, them, and he, him pronouns, and so you can use those for me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Now, I think what confused me even more than the whole Z, zim, zir pronouns we just heard from the young lady in the first clip is how she said she also uses he, him pronouns. How does that make sense? There I go again, trying to make sense of the nonsensical. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a fairly quick and very crazy weekend liberal meltdown clown world update for you guys today. And as usual, we have, well, very little time to waste. So let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. So this slightly husky individual in the pink dress is Linda. Wow, Linda looks like he could have played middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys in his younger years, but that's neither here nor there. I digress. Anyway, Linda is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman and calls himself a trans man or trans lesbian. Now, Linda does use she, her pronouns and ladies' restrooms. What?
Stop being a girly man.
Let's keep it moving with this lovely young lady who calls Donald Trump every phobe and ist in the book. And as you're listening to this, keep in mind, these are the types that say Trump voters are the most angry and hateful people on the planet. Roll it.
Woke up this morning so disappointed in America, and I just want to say, if you contributed to putting a xenophobic, homophobic, misogynistic, racist, transphobic, convicted felon in office, I mean this in the most hateful, disrespectful way possible. I hope the next 4 years of your life are the worst 4 years that you've ever had, because you need a wake-up call.
Shut the f*** up, okay? Shut the f*** up!
Next up, we have Jeffrey, our old pal Jeffrey, doing part 3 of a TikTok series he made called Cutting Off Trump Voting Family Members. Now, I showed the other 2 parts in recent videos, and as you're listening to this, keep in mind, Jeffrey's audience isn't adults. It's kids. Roll it.
Hi, listen, if someone voted against your humanity, you're not going to go home and see them over Thanksgiving. You're not going to see them at Christmas. Just because, listen to me, just because someone is genetically related to you does not mean they automatically get your time, attention, respect. And to be more specific, being genetically related to someone does not mean that they get your sacrifice of your respect for yourself.
Yeah, well, you're one sick, miserable, evil SOB.
Next up, we have this young lady who is very upset because she is losing all of her rights. Now, if you ask these people exactly what rights they are losing, they can't tell you because they're actually not losing any rights. It's just the hip and trendy thing to say on the left. Roll it.
I really didn't want to relate to Only the Young today. I don't know if I go to work. I can't stop crying. Like, can I live in a country that doesn't hate women? Like, I live in a country that hates women. I have less rights than I had when I was born, and I'm probably about to have less than that. And women who voted for Trump just don't get it. They don't get that they voted for somebody who hates women.
Well, why don't you cry about it? Saddlebags?
Next up, we have Grizzly Adams here, who says we could have had a president who believes in rights for all Americans. And of course, he's talking about Kamala Harris. However, two of her biggest talking points in the past were censoring social media platforms and banning assault weapons. So, sorry, sir, but you don't know what the you're talking about. Roll it.
That we could have had a president who believed in rights for all Americans. Someone who didn't just push endless hate and taking away rights. Someone who wanted to look forward to the progress of the future and not try to drag us over 100 or 200 years into the past, making us sicker, denying life-saving inoculations. We could have easily avoided all of this. But because people didn't want to vote for a woman, especially a woman of color, they chose the con man game show host, the authoritarian who openly admitted several times that he doesn't care about anyone else. And so many people were either actively cheering for that destruction or were apathetic to our system that they doomed all of us to at least 4 years of a horrible economy, a devalued dollar, millions of people getting kicked off of their health care. And we could have avoided all of this if we actually voted for progress and not based our entire vote on hatred, misogyny, racism, and fucking gullibility.
Oh, don't give me that liberal bullshit.
Next up, we have this slightly rotund young lady who hates this country and is going to tell us what she thinks its new name should be. Roll it.
The United States of America does not and has never deserved that name. So from now on, we should only be referring to this country as the states divided by bigotry.
God damn, that's a big bitch.
Next up, we have this lady who says people voted for Trump based on lies because they really had no idea what his policy positions are. Call me crazy, but wasn't Trump already president for 4 years? Roll it.
Hardest part that I'm reckoning with right now is that staunch Trump supporters voted for him on the basis of lies and misinformation that was fed to them. The days of respectability politics are out the door. If I hear one more person say, who you vote for is your right and you don't have to tell anybody and it's none of your business, those are not the days we're living in anymore. They don't know what Trump's policies are. They are that misinformed, and that is so frustrating to me. Like, I had that woman in my comments saying she voted for Trump because of IVF access. Babes, there's not even going to be IVF access. What do you mean? It's all lies. It's all lies, and they voted based on lies, and they refuse to acknowledge it. I will move past this, and I'm going to start channeling my energy into preparing and community organization, where I have in the past also channeled my energy. But I will never forgive them. I will never, ever forgive them. I am a social worker, and I work with immigrants and transgendered folks, and today I'm going into work and I have to look those people in the eye and tell them I do not know. I don't know. I don't know what the future looks like for them. And that's terrifying. That's terrifying for them. And I'm going to do my best to support the people in my life that I can touch the best I can.
Are you fucking dumb?
So now that Donald Trump won the election, Democrats like this young fella want Joe Biden to do certain things like back the Supreme Court and arrest Trump? Roll it.
Demanding Biden pack the Supreme Court. Why the f*** are we not demanding that he arrest a convicted felon? Like, you could executive order do both of those things, and he's not. Why are we not demanding this? We should be demanding this. I don't know. Does that seem fucking crazy? Am I crazy for saying that? Is that the quiet part that I'm just saying out loud? Like, come on, people. What the fuck?
You are by far the dumbest, most pathetic piece of maggot-eating shit that has ever slid from a human being's hairy ass.
Hey guys, real quick, before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this loop on the screen. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Anyway, today's video is being brought to us by none other than Pastor Bob Rogers and Amber Wood. Pastor Bob and Amber, thank you guys so much for sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate the support. And I want to give a big shout out to today's honorable mentions, Felicia B, Autumn 45, The Shizzle, and the band Ghost for each leaving a super thanks on the last video. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support. So once again, today's video sponsors are Pastor Bob Rogers and Amber Wood, with the honorable mentions going to Felicia B, Autumn 45, The Shizzle, and the band Ghost. Now, if you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. All right, I think we've all seen enough of whatever this is for one day. Get this off the screen, please. Ugh.
Look at them tick old bitties.
Next up, we have one of those role-playing TikToks where this woman is having a conversation with herself, trying to convince herself that biological men should be allowed to play in women's sports and that they don't have an unfair advantage. These people have completely lost the plot. Roll it.
I'm liberal, I just don't think trans women should be in women's sports, okay? Because, well, there's an obvious physical advantage. It's not fair. I don't think sports are very fair to begin with. There's physical advantages to being born a man. Muggsy Bogues is one of the shortest NBA players that ever was, yet he went toe-to-toe with Shaquille O'Neal just fine. A lot of people study Michael Phelps and how he won all those medals because of his really long wingspan against other men. Yeah, but men have more testosterone, and they can't have children. Amber Miller ran the Chicago Marathon 9 months pregnant, and all women have varying levels of testosterone. Look, we have to draw the line somewhere, and biological sex has to be one of them. So do we give intersex boxers their own league? Do we say Amin Khalif had too much high testosterone, even though she's born a biological woman? She is not a woman. I mean, look at her. She looks like a man. You sure about that? I'm more confused now than ever. It's actually not that confusing when you just don't see trans people as human beings. So why is the conversation always about trans women and never about trans men? It's almost like we just view women as frail and treat them as such and don't give them equal opportunities for training.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Next up, we have this picture of a biological man that identifies as a trans woman and is wearing a diaper in public along with a jersey that says, "Let me try to keep this family friendly. Girl, Richard, gang."
Man, you are one twisted fuck.
And speaking of trans women in diapers, this fella not only identifies as a trans woman, but a trans toddler, and he actually soils his diapers. Roll it.
Yeah, at work, I'm about to drop off an order, and my diaper's getting kind of full right now, so I might need to change really soon, but it is very discreet. Check out my last video for the discreet outfits video, but my diaper is getting a little full right now.
Are you retarded?
All right, guys, we are going to be wrapping it up with yet another clip of the rising star of the Democrat Party, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett on MSNBC, talking about how Trump wants to dismantle DEI in the government. And she says that white women are the biggest beneficiaries of DEI. You can't make this shit up. Anyway, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, guys, so please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time, I love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
Or whatever it is that they want to say. They are trying to dismantle our civil rights in front of us. And it's really, really sad. And so I am hoping that we will be united, not only in the House, but in the Senate. And it would be nice if we could find the backbone of some Republican to stand with us, hopefully one that is of color. And the final point that I'll make is that the biggest beneficiaries of DEI as well as affirmative action have been white women. So at least maybe one white woman can stand with us Democrats and make sure that we stop this harmful and divisive rhetoric that we see happening, that they are now trying to turn into actual bills.
What the hell did you just say?
And the final point that I'll make is that the biggest beneficiaries of DEI as well as affirmative action have been white women.
You must have got manure for your brains.
You've shit for brains.
And you ain't black.